This is going to be very, very tough, specifically because of Asia Manji's ability to adapt to their opponents.
It is time to head into game number one. I think you make a bit of a good point about the coach too. Asia Manji did manage to get that top 4 and could have even got a top 2, but got reverse swept. Mentally, maybe that's where they could have gained some advantage there, and maybe that will be the difference for this split.
Quickly, I think, here, because if the dominance is there that I would have kind of expected out of Slot Machine just based on power alone, it should come out of the gates fairly early for them. Bullarice now has that kind of control as well, but it's actually going to continually come down for Asia Manji's side in the opening minute here.
Super Sub Tank is who we're going to be looking for. Mostly I want to see confidence from him to move forward, to go for those demos, and just to be taking his shots. Even there with a miss, I'm not worried about it because he's actually willing to go. And usually the biggest problem of a sub is just being a bit too tentative.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tank is the person I wanted to bring up as well, because you know, he's one of the only people to be able to put a win to his name against 3 Rats. So, you know, maybe not the 3 Rats' best day on that occasion, but it was their full roster. Tank showed up very, very well, and he's probably one of the most improved players since the RLCS announcement of anyone in Asia. So I every time I get the chance to see Tank, I really look forward to displays from him, but they're getting fired on right now. 40, unable to put it away. It's off that crossbar. They have to find it. It's going to be 40 with the second attempt as well.
Such an awkward bounce, and you see the entire defense always worrying about it. Tank and Bullarice, not sure where to go. And it's a great finish off there by 40. So the first goal going to Asia Manji.
You can just see Tank in the comms right there, just going, no, 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 I cannot. Do not make me attempt. This will be an own goal. But regardless of whether it was his or Asia Manji's, it was a goal nonetheless. And now Asia Manji showing up for mine and Boyo's predictions here with the first goal, but still plenty of time in it for you to come through. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for now.
Well, 2 minutes in. Plenty of time remaining, as you said. Slot Machine will be looking to see as well if Bullarice will step up to that forward plate. He was playing very much of the third man role under 3 Rats, but we've already seen him playing a lot more aggressive. But Easel looking for the pass back to Dan. He will slow it down. Asia Manji just looking for a little bit of control in that front half as Fisio goes for the counter.
Good pass out to the midfield, but Tank cuts it off very, very succinctly. Now, again, some slow play here. There's definitely strategy going on from Asia Manji's side. I feel like Slot Machine is just playing their game, you know, and from their perspective, this shouldn't be that hard a match for them, realistically. When they look at the caliber of players they are, they probably didn't come into this thinking that they would need too much of a plan of attack against Asia Manji, but already Asia Manji has proven that that is probably not the case.
That being said, it doesn't matter how good of a players you are if you're coming in as your sub. So I'm sure they're not overconfident. Otherwise, they'll definitely get bitten. And Asia Manji are the kind of team that are solid enough and rotate so well that they will punish anyone. They're even keeping this ball away for a little bit here, but they're stuck in defense for now. Looking for the pass out. 40. Ends up getting it over to Fisio, who misses. Bullarice almost takes advantage, but it's a good block out in front of net by Asia Manji. We'll have a chance to clear it out, but Easel gets blocked. And now the rotations for Slot Machine come through. A shot going high, bounces off the backboard. Tank looking for the follow-up as well as Slot Machine. They've had so many opportunities here to go for the attempt. Tank underneath. Bullarice, can he follow it up? He can't. There's so many chances, but every time, Asia Manji up to the task.
Yeah, really good opportunities.
Oh,
yeah,
great demo.
Creates a massive opportunity. They finally can capitalize on it. A forced open net, but what a pass out from Fisio. Tank in the perfect position. Super sub he is.
And that was after a great 1 minute of solid pressure, great challenges, perfect timing on the rotations in, always keeping spread out so the ball couldn't be cleared over the top of them. That is really impressive gameplay from Slot Machine and the kind of play that they're going to be able to replicate. It doesn't purely rely on mechanics.
And it's really good to see that it's their sub taking a part in that kind of repeatable play. This is kind of reflecting what I've been hearing from the players about Tank. I'm not the only one with faith in him. Some of the best players in the region were just talking about how quote-unquote cracked Tank is. You know, he comes through and really has been shining since the RLCS announcement. He's going to have to back his team up again here. Has the ball now out of the corner. It's going to go back to the mid-line, though.
That was a good attempt there by Fisio in the 1v1, but Manji's defense, despite that one-time cracking, has felt extremely solid thus far. They've been able to get out to the challengers early. They've been able to block the solo plays and the passes, and so it has to take a long effort for Slot Machine to be able to get the goal against them as we head towards the 0-second mark. It is going to hit the ground overtime in game one.
Oh, day one, we were able to get so many good close matchups. Even if series score didn't necessarily always reflect it, every single game was great to watch yesterday. And yet again, we've already got overtime in our first game, and it is not through lack of attack or... Oh my goodness! No, do not get me saying how good the play is and then have this happen. The score overtime, 18 seconds. And a misplay comes out of Fisher and Boris score an own goal.
That is a two-man passing own goal. That is incredible. You do not see that very often in RLCS. However, you cannot blame them. It was just a moment of panic, no time to adjust, and that is how it all falls apart for Slot Machine.
I don't think Fisio touched it on his attempt. He actually misread and just ended up in that position here on that last goal. And the shot came through, couldn't read it, and just ended up basically backpassing, like you said. I don't think it was necessarily the attempt to hit when it happened. So unfortunate for them. But you know what? Slot Machine did kind of earn that win. Manji had plan. They had defense for a lot of that. But in the end, Slot Machine was just more consistent.
Manji takes the win in the end. And I think that's got to be back off just sheer defense. The fact that they were able to hold on. And the only way for Slot Machine to score was to be able to keep them in defense and to keep them running low on boost for a full minute. And obviously with so little amount of time in a match, there's not really many opportunities to do that. And they weren't able to create many opportunities outside of that Slot Machine.
No, and that does come down to good planning, I think. But even when you're talking about that sub, when you're talking about Tank there, I mean, that does kind of change a way a team plays as well. So the plan has to account for that, but it looks like it has. They have been able to hold that kind of midline defense, push some aggression, and even when it was swapping hands, every time they were able to get push up field, Manji looked like they had opportunities created for them. So you keep creating those opportunities, eventually it's going to sink in.
This is open. This should be a goal. Fisio saw the spawn as well, sneaks it in the right-hand side, and it's a great start for Slot Machine.
Very good start, Tank. That very conscious pass into Fisio. The communication there already good to see early in to our day two as well. It can take a little time for that kind of synergy to kind of build up for teams sometimes, but right out of the gate, the communication seems to be there for Slot Machine, and that's been consistent. Boulerice doesn't need any communication. He's going to run it home himself.
This is why he's known as one of the top players in the region. Finds the flip reset, fakes it under one. Easel absolutely ruined. His wheels have fallen off.
Broken axle, you say? I think that could be absolutely correct there, but yeah, that flip reset doing wonders for Slot Machine, and that is kind of where they're going to conquer Manji a lot of the time. It's just that quality of speed and mechanics coming out again from Boulerice this time. The pass from Fisio off the ceiling.
It's Boulerice over Easel again. He's teaching his old sub how to do it, and it's put them in a 3-0. And Manji have 4.5 minutes now to try and bring this back. They can't let any more goals in. They have to rely back on that defense of the previous game and just play a bit standard. They don't need to rush this. They've still got time. They just need to stop the bleeding for now.
40 now, attempting to stem it with a goal. Does get blocked away by Boulerice in the long run. Out to that midfield now, the 50 doesn't go perfectly for them. They should be able to get possession off of it though. Flick up high, coming off the backboard now is Dan. A big defensive 50 there, and Asia Manji managed to hold on to this, but they are down by 3. They need to get onto the offensive game very quickly. I think they could use with some physical play to do that.
Balleriz is having so much impact with every ball. He keeps taking it high, looking for flip resets, looking for extra touch, beating somebody out, allowing a follow-up, allowing a goal. That's number 4. Physio sinks it in, and once again, Balleriz are the setup.
And again, just a really well-placed shot. Physio, all 3 of these players, they have mechanics, but when it comes down to a more base shot, those mechanics mean that you can be so much more pinpoint accurate that if you've got any space behind the defender, that's where you're going to put that ball.
The 40 has always been very solid in the back half, but at the moment they don't seem to have a path out to that other end. We're seeing like a quick clear attempt. No follow-up, but this is good. Easel finds an opening. Slot Machine caught off guard.
Yeah, it did have to be quick. That seems to be the key here, is getting onto them while they have any level of that kind of confusion amongst the ranks. The rotation is not really out there, but off kickoff, low boost situations, anything you can capitalize on helps, and Asia Manji are able to capitalize on that well.
They did well because Physio was also on very low boost in the net there, and I think they realized that. Hence why Easel was so confident to commit there with even a player in the defense. Shows very good intelligence coming out from Asia Manji, but it might not be enough if they're going to let balls hang in front of their net like that. Asia Manji been good on the defense so far, but it only takes one good shot to send it the other way. Physio could be the one to sink it in. He ends up taking it high.
It's interesting that Asia Manji, when they're succeeding here, it's off of something that Auglis failed to do against them for the last match yesterday, which is just making sure that when they've got a defender in net, you play around them. Like, you do not just hammer a straight shot onto goal when you've got 3 men there ready to save it. You draw those defenders out, and that's exactly what Asia Manji has been able to do time and time again. The passing plays, using the backboard well, but their defense is just struggling against the caliber that Slot Machine has in reply to that.
Physio has been trying to shut that down, and now it's an opportunity here for Asia Manji, especially with the bump. It's just a midfield shot, but the bump from Easel has created a chance here for Asia Manji.
And pressure on the defender there, Physio in net, nearly getting bumped, had to backflip out of the way. That kept him too low to get back up to that, and a nicely placed shot again, kind of replicating Slot Machine's, I think it was 2nd goal this game. Now Asia Manji kind of firing back on the same front that Slot Machine has been playing on. 40 now, good control, good decision making. Can he get it past Physio? No, he's actually going to leave it and go for the boost control in their opponent's side of the field. They want to get that pressure started.
I like that challenge from Dan as well. They're starting to look for ways to shut down Slot Machine in the midfield, and that's going to be crucial to getting their chance at the other end as well. Instead of having the counter-attacks, it may be this midfield control and preventing aerial players. All 3 members of Slot Machine commit up, and it should be a chance for Asia Manji. They could have just won that race. Instead, it's to kind of hang out in their defense for a while. Tank looks for the shot, fakes out too. It's in! Tank, he's done them all!
And right when the game was starting to feel a little bit close, you get a play like this from the substitute of Slot Machine playing. That's one of the better shots we've seen today. It's up to the standard of Balleriz there, and Tank, as a previous sub and current sub for this team, again, coming out looking like a main roster player for sure.
And after Asia Manji complimented on their defense so long, it never looked panicked. Well, that was a 3-man panic right there. Tank making 2 players commit at the same time. And that might be too much for Asia Manji to bring back this game. They've only got 50 seconds to get 3 goals.
I'm serious. How is Tank a sub? He's so
he's
good.
Always been so good.
He's come back into... Well, no, that's the thing. He hasn't always. We've always seen him like this because, you know, most people are here to watch RLCS. They didn't know Asia before this moment. When the moment arrives, he rose to it absolutely massively.
I mean, always at RLCS, you know, that's the important part, right? So he's been great as a sub, and maybe Asia Manji are a team that just simply, Slot Machine are a team that simply need a good sub like this, because Poofy's going to often be away. We've seen that during his study in the past. Balleries, because he's in the army and sometimes can't play on a Friday night, maybe they'll need him there. You need a high quality sub, and this is exactly why.
Look, just for some reference to everybody who doesn't know the Asia scene outside of RLCS, this is a player that I was always equating to Mito from the old Flu Esports, now Not Just Associates. A team that you would never ever put up against Slot Machine there, kind of in quality. They've been doing well, but Slot Machine is a massively high caliber, probably second best in this competition caliber team, and Tank fits into it. So they really have selected a very, very good sub. I don't know if maybe he's looking for these sub positions in big teams, but he's playing like a main roster player even for such a high level team, and it's doing wonders for his reputation. It's doing wonders for Slot Machine's reputation. And
it's great to see Slot Machine do it in a way that just took individual firepower. Unlike that game one where it felt like they had to work so hard for their goals. Slot Machine were getting this ball up in the air, looking for fakes, looking for situations where they can outplay Asia Manji and put the ball in their court, where it becomes about the individual skill in an individual play. And that's where we especially see the likes of Balleries and somehow Tank shining in those situations.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. When Tank made that goal, I was just about to talk about how, despite the scoreline there, 4-2 at the time, there's that goal there on screen for you. Asia Manji really was looking fairly even in quality of game to Slot Machine, maybe in different ways, but they were reaching that mark. Slot Machine definitely just has those moments that shine over Asia Manji, but I still have faith that Asia Manji's planning and ability to play as a team under that kind of coached situational preparedness can win out here. It's just a matter of making sure that they stick to that and force the game to be played the way they want to see it.
Asia Manji have put themselves in a position where they're still getting the possession, they've still got pretty good control of the game, but anytime it slips, that's when it's falling apart. So I want to see them challenging a lot earlier in the midfield, taking earlier control of the play, and not really giving Slot Machine any chances to take that midfield control.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we had a stat there to look at, I think we do actually have a stat. I didn't check it for field possession. Stuff like this comes out of it because they do seem to have the vast bulk of it, and it's only those ones getting away from them that fires back against goals like this.
And strong pace coming out from Asia Manji. They're finally following each other up close enough to that backboard that they were able to beat the defenders, and mechanically they kept it simple, so it wasn't too hard to execute either. So Asia Manji getting that first goal, and they almost had a breakaway for another.
Easel, yeah. I'm surprised he actually didn't get that dunk down. I think that was the last defender as well, so probably a guaranteed goal had he, but under millimeters there. You're correct for that, and the next time that situation arises, that's going to be a goal. Oh, a situation there nearly problematic. Slot Machine firing on all cylinders again the moment they do get field possession.
Yeah, tough, strong shots that are almost forcing out the mistakes from the defenders. And Slot Machine now have a lot of pressure. They have a bit of a boost advantage with 40 running out and having to hold that third man role, but a good clear out prevents that from happening. Even still, Slot Machine still have the opportunity to get this ball forward soon and still take advantage of some of this boost and possession, as Tank will be riding it up slowly. He wants to build some room for his teammates to get behind, to push it back into attack. Chance here as Balleries doesn't sink that one in. It goes wide, and Easel will take it away.
An even series at Game 3. Yet again, we saw this so much in Day 1. It becomes such a crucial moment for both of these teams. It will put somebody on match point here, and Slot Machine have possession. They've got a shot as well. The save is good from Dan.
I like them taking the ball up high, though, Slot Machine. That's where they're looking so much more comfortable than Asia Manji. That's where they can dominate this match Bulleries hasn't been able to take advantage of too many of those situations, but you can see when the ball is high, Asia Manji running back, Bulleries finding the shot, it's not in! He's just missed that by inches.
And taken away by Dan as well. I mean, you call it a miss because it bounced, and you're absolutely right that he should have been able to sink that and won, but it would have probably been on target had it not been saved away. I think the bounce was low enough to make it, but that defense holding up for Asia Manji as well. It wasn't only a bad touch there from Slot Machine that leaves Asia Manji in the lead by 1 now. Tank with that control, with the mechanics as well, over the top of 40. Will have to be Dan to make a defensive touch. They need another. Nobody in goal. This is a dangerous situation for Asia Manji. Bulleries gets past 1, but there is too much defense on the line.
Oh, Tank slowing that ball down. He's enjoyed that a few times now, but it also slows down their ability to take advantage of Asia Manji as they're running back to defense. And we know that when Asia Manji are set, they are pretty much in the clear. And a great demo will stop that shot coming through. Tank has to get a solid 50 as the clock runs down to 1 minute. Slot Machine start to feel the pressure on them as they are moving forward again. Fisio has an answer, has this ball up the wing, gets the extra touch, but it's not over the top of Dan, and that'll be cleared out by Asia Manji.
Interesting to see that Asia Manji were pushing very, very far forward for boost there. They are trying to manage this on a boost level. It does kind of slow down and shut down a lot of the front that Slot Machine is able to get their goals off. Once they have no boost or low boost, that kind of high aerial game that they're winning is shut down largely. Again, that high aerial game paying off. Tank evens it up with only 32 seconds left.
You saw the pace coming out. Bulleries beating one. Fisio, the first one to that next ball. And that allows a completely open shot. Every other time, Asia Manji have been able to go for the challenge. And thankfully for Slot Machine, they were able to find that strong angle, the strong shot as well to get it through those two defenders.
Well, they're going to have to find it again. It's still an even game. 20 seconds left. Easel gets the second touch. 18 seconds left, and Asia Manji are up by 1 again. It did not take long to get fired back.
They faked him out completely. Bulleries 100% trusted him for that extra touch. He had it if he wanted it, and he waited it to just flow past. Easel takes it underneath, and looks like a big brain right now.
He says, Bulleries sub this. Coming in very hot. Definitely looking main roster right now, and that's what the interview was talking about. But it's shot back in again by the sub Tank.
That came in at 117 Ks from just the middle of the pitch. Had to have a good angle as well from that left-hand side to be able to beat two defenders who were ready for the shot, but not ready for that shot.
Yeah, really, really big effort there to keep themselves in this, and it's looking like yet another overtime coming out of this. Or maybe not, though. On 0, Bulleries able to get one last one. They've gone ahead in the series on Game 3. Probably the most crucial moment here they could get this at. It doesn't go to overtime at all.
I really don't like that from Asia Manji as well. They were so set in their net. They looked scared. They looked like bunnies running down their rabbit hole. And they made sure that they weren't ready to go out and challenge that. That's going to be a touch that always goes into center. That you know that the shot, the attackers in that situation on the 0-second mark are going to look to center that ball up. And you can see the nerves showing here for Asia Manji.
Yeah, I mean, they looked like they'd assumed that was over, that they were looking for it to just ground. Yeah, the defense was available, but it's hard to make that call, I guess. Slot Machine are kept their mental game, and that's going to be such a big thing for Asia in this first RLCS run through here. It's still only in the second split ever for them. So that mental game, making sure that even when there's dying seconds on the clock, you are still pushing forward. Largely, very largely in that match, though, Tank was responsible for that win for Slot Machine.
And I am very interested to see both of these defenses right now have let so many balls from around the corner go over the top of the defenders and get into an awkward position. We've seen that from both teams. We saw that from Asia Manji in that last goal, and we've seen it multiple times from Slot Machine. They're getting themselves too set in the net. They're not staying fast in that defense, and they're not approaching back post in a lot of these situations. And that's creating opportunities for both teams to get it around. So I think that is an opening that maybe Asia Manji especially could take advantage of.
And with Slot Machine playing that high aerial game as well, you need to have really, really set backboard defense. I think that that's lacking a little bit from Asia Manji. Don't get me wrong, it's not like the worst backboard defense I've ever seen, but it's been a sore point for Asia as a whole for some time. I thought we'd kind of moved past that in the first split of RLCS, that had been something the region had been able to kind of overcome a bit. However, there it comes again, and this time it's Slot Machine with no backboard defense, drops down from the ceiling after Tank bumps ball race away from the control of that. 40 did collect that well, though.
Tank, come on, your teammate's on it. It's fine. And all three members of Slot Machine had pushed up into the corner. That's why the ball's flying over their head from the corner. And now Fissio's getting a goal of the kickoff. Come on, guys, pick it up.
It has to be. Both these teams. It was said yesterday by Bacon, I think it was, is that weirdness breeds a weirdness, right? But when you've got a kickoff in between, that should be a mental reset for that, surely.
I really hated that from 40. He's pushing forward, really, really gunning it forward.
But not from Tank.
Off the boost, you know, instead of playing a little bit defensive there, because sometimes the kickoff goes against you, and end up just giving it a free kickoff. And most of the time, when you're pushing forward off that boost stealing player, you're not creating many more opportunities. You're just opening yourself up. And Bulleries, they've found the lead.
This is actually miraculous positioning here. Bulleries coming in from the wall, finds the angle, and it's a top bins shot. Really, really quite well taken there. Bulleries showing exactly why he was main roster for 3 Rats.
He's done very well for himself in this series, and he's had the ability to shine so much more in that forward half. Before, you kind of see him be a player who's able to backboard really well and finish off shots that his teammates are setting up. But let's admit it, the 3 Rats players, they're greedy. They're not letting Bulleries have a chance. Now he's really got a time to shine.
That's a good pass in, a big miss there from 40. Easel got the pass so well. Fissio misses that one as well. I think if it was on target, Bulleries had it covered, but slightly missed opportunity there nonetheless, and they are down by 1. They could need that by the end of this. Dan now looking for that center. It will get away. Shouldn't really be an issue for Asia Manji to get back onto this, especially with 40 getting a touch out to the midfield like that. Easel, a tap down, will go straight to Tank though.
Good touch away from Asia Manji, just looking for that touch towards the teammate. Take it away from Slot Machine in the midfield, but that's not it. And now Tank will have the chance on the follow-up, looking for the corner read. Almost gets it. Bulleries takes it high. And pancakes it again. That's it. Bulleries does it himself.
I knew it. I mean, you see a member of 3 Rats get a pancake on the backboard that looks like it was probably a flip reset. You know that any of them are getting that. He has moved on from the 3 Rats. He's still got those skills. You cannot take that away from Slot Machine. And unfortunately, Asia Manji didn't have the defense to cover such a magnificent shot.
Especially not worried about the backboard, and that's unfortunately where Slot Machine attacking them over and over again. So Asia Manji now have to find something special in this series, even if it's just going all out on demos. It's just changing something up because it's not working right now, and that's it, the demo from 40, but there was no follow-up at the same time.
Shot coming off the backboard there, but Bulleries sends another one home. This could secure the game away. I mean, there's still 2 minutes left on the board. It's enough, but Asia Manji is struggling this one, and they are on match point here. Slot Machine could take this from them this game.
They always say the best shot you can take at a penalty kickoff is straight towards the goalkeeper, because that happens. The pre-jump went underneath them, and Asia Manji, that was really, really painful for them, not just looking, but also in terms of the scoreline. It's going to have to be a goal soon if they want to come back.
Loris out to that midfield. It will be Asia Manji. He's going to come off the post there. Thought he was looking for a pass, not a shot. As they frequently do, when they know that they've got defenders to beat, they usually do default to passing to each other, drawing those guys out. It has been a working strategy, but they have to miss. They have to be beaten. There are options to take, but that's not one of them. Tank scoring another one and by far securing this one away now.
Once again, it's just around the corner. It's from the backboard. Anytime the ball's gone away from that backboard, nobody's ready for it. They had the one player on the backboard that time, but stuck in the corner. It's got to be that player down on the ground because they're the ones who can move a lot further away from the net, read that backboard touch as it comes out, and challenge it early. And that's just a big problem here for Asia Manji. Every single time, it's been a goal like that.
It's funny though, because I feel like that's a skill that's actually gotten worse progressively throughout this series. It's almost like they had that plan set from their coach. They knew what they had to do, where they had to guard, and how to attack. And the longer the series has gone on, the more they've forgotten those commands. And right now, Slot Machine are kind of looking like the team that we more expected coming into this against Asia Manji. Just quality of play overwhelming them, and Slot Machine up by 4 goals is a very, very dominant victory here, and still time for more if they beat them in 50s like that. Tank away to ball race again. It's going to come out of the corner, and another opportunity. It will be Tank again. He's been showing up as kind of a #1 player almost for Slot Machine here. He really is showing up.
And again, a ball off the corner, leading away from the backboard. I don't know how many times we have to see it before something could change, but Slot Machine get goal number 6. They've secured the game. They've secured the series. They are moving on into top 6 in this double elim, and you know what? One more for the road.
For the funny number, Brazil coming out, the 7-1. Off that backboard, 40, at least 40 was available, but it's just so predictable at this point. It's just a storyline that they're rereading a kid's book over and over again. It's a single page, but the story is good enough apparently because it's working time and time again.
I mean, both teams have been susceptible, and for a lot of the series, it was more Slot Machine, but both teams are so committed to the net. They're both running to the net. They're not thinking about where they need to be to cover a certain play and maybe where their teammate behind them can cover up next. They're both so focused on this net. One more even. 8-1 for Slot Machine. That is one of the most dominant games we've seen in a playoffs.
Yeah, and that's amazing because it was so close leading up to this match. It really was a snap change there. I think that mental game really coming up again as a talking point there. As soon as